Hello, it's Chris from My Stamp Lady. I'm here with this card and I love the sentiment, and it's made with the Thoughtful Blooms stamp set and the small bloom punch from the Sale-A-Bration Catalog from Stampin' Up. So I wanted to make this sentiment stick out, so I did a stacked sentiment and I die cut the cardstock to make this from the well-written dies. So to start my background, I have a piece of 4 1/4 by 11-inch thick whisper white cardstock that I've run through a die cutting machine with the layered leaves 3-dimensional folder for an embossed background. And then I can set that aside. Now I'm going to work on that focal image, which I die cut the cardstock with one of the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and I got this large, beautiful scalloped stitched piece of cardstock. And then from the Thoughtful Blooms, let's pull in some different images. So I have Granny Apple Green that I'm using for the leaves, and I've done 2 of those here. Okay, I've done 2 sets of the large leaves. Now I have the small flower, and I have Highland Heather ink, and I'm going to go around and stamp several of these small flowers. To use as a filler, I'm using this stem for the berries. So I'm going in and finding some places that I think the berries will look nice stamped in and around the flowers. We have a stamp that will stamp those berries lined up with that stem, and I have Balmy Blue ink that I'm using for those berries, and I've stamped them on the stems around the flower group. Okay, so those larger centers are for this larger flower that is punched out with the small bloom punch. I stamped the details first in crushed curry. I found it a little bit easier to stamp these first and then to go in and take the solid image in the lighter color, Daffodil Delight, and go over those flowers. And with the layers, you have a full looking flower. So then after you've stamped 2 of those flowers, you want to punch them out. I will be placing these punched out flowers right into the center of the groupings that I've made on that scalloped edged piece. It's nice because the flowers are symmetrical, they're easy to punch out, they're easy to line up. I've placed mini dimensionals on the back side of these punched out flowers. I'm going to place those, like I said, right into the center of those groupings on this scalloped piece. In the center of those flowers, I will be adding a little bit of bling, so I've added a little bit of dazzle to the center. Now with that well-written die, and I've taken the thanks, I've die cut from Gorgeous Grape 3 thanks, and these are the thanks, the words that I'm going to stack on top of each other to get a little thicker look, and it will stand out a bit more. I'm going to use spray adhesive with on the back side of these, so I'm pulling in a box, place those face down, and then I'll shake up my spray, my Elmer's Craft Bond, and spray the back side. I left one not sprayed. I will use the not sprayed thanks as my base and stack the 2 sprayed words right on top. The spray adhesive does allow me to kind of work with it a little bit, make sure they're lined up, and I haven't had any trouble with them looking off at all. So there we have 2, and the reverse tweezers are wonderful for this. They make this job much easier, so if you can find yourself a pair of reverse tweezers, it's going to help you out a lot. And then that 3rd one, you can tell it's getting kind of sticky on my fingers, but let's layer the 3rd one on there, and I thought this was a nice height. I set that aside. I am layering the piece of 2019-2021 in color designer series paper over the center of that embossed card base. It was a nice, this is Purple Posy. It's a nice soft color to go behind my flowers. Then dimensionals on the back side of my scalloped rectangle flowers. Place that down. Now I took that stacked thanks and sprayed the very bottom one, the back side. I'm going to place that thanks right at the bottom of my scalloped flower piece. I love the way it stands out. It's a nice add to this card. I have done another card with a similar idea, so let me pull that in here. I use Calypso Coral and I use the word friend, the same flowers, many of the same colors, and I have a stacked piece there. So if you have any questions about my friend or the thanks and how I got them, don't hesitate to contact me, Chris at mystamplady.com, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my videos. Thanks so much for watching.